This is Jilliana Ranicar-Breese in London, and I'm in the home of Weef. That's spelled W-E-E-F, and he's the leading cartoonist in the Evening Standard. In fact, he's been their cartoonist for at least 20 years. Originally from Leeds. How did that happen? What was your journey, Weef?
Yeah, can I just say I'm not the leading cartoonist for the Evening Standard, but I do cartoons for
okay.
them. There is another chap who is there
okay.
in person.
Okay.
But I started out doing caricatures of teachers, and then when I went to art college, I was always drawing the lecturers, and then I started working for a small sort of left-wing sheet called the Leeds Other Paper, and I used to go in there and draw cartoons. And basically, they used to say to me, could you lay this page out with galleys? So I'd cut all these galleys.
Oh, that's in the old days,
exactly,
isn't it? Yes.
And so let's set the headline, cut the galleys into shape, and then whatever the space was, I'd draw a cartoon that would fit into
So when would
shape.
this be? The 70s?
This was the 70s.
How did I guess? Okay.
And so that kind of got me into cartooning, and then I used to buy Punch every week and read that and try and send cartoons in, but I never got one in. I got one in much later, but I never got one in at that time. And then I worked at Leeds University in their planning department, and I used to draw. There was a kind of a magazine that was done for the academics, and I used to do illustrations and cartoons for that. And I think, did I get paid? No, I didn't get paid for that. And then my girlfriend at the time, her parents moved to Edinburgh, so we used to go up quite a lot to visit, and then we just fell in love with Edinburgh and moved to Edinburgh.
Right.
And
lovely place.
And I gave myself a year because we were on the Dole at the time. Remember the Dole?
And love on the Dole.
Yeah, both of us were on the Dole, and then I gave myself a year to try and get into the papers, and during that time I used to do. I started doing posters for the Traverse Theatre,
oh yes,
and the King's Theatre, and
the festival.
Yeah, the festival. What happened with the festival was I went to see Alistair Moffat, who used to run the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, not the festival.
Okay.
And he said, "Oh yeah, it'd be nice. Come in and do some little drawings for us on our newsletter," which was basically a thing that they sent out to all the theatre companies. There weren't that many in those days. And then they had a programme. And I did the covers for the programme.
Oh.
And I did the very first one that they did in full colour.
Wonderful.
Which was a really nice job.
Have you still got that one?
Yeah, I've still got that. And I got that's on my website. So
right,
you can see
right.
it on there.
And your website is weef.com?
Weef.co.uk.
Okay. Yeah.
And then during the festival, I got a phone call from the Edinburgh Evening News if I could do a caricature of John Diamond, who ran the Edinburgh Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah. And I went in and they told me what they wanted, and I did this caricature, and that was it. I then started getting work from the Edinburgh Evening News, and then on the back of that, the Times Educational Scotland were in just off Princes Street, so I went to see them, and they got me to do stuff for them, and then I used to illustrate a column in there that was once a month called Mr. Morris's Diary. I can't remember what it was called now. I haven't done that for a long time. And then...
So in fact, you've met quite a few famous people and done their... you've got Tom Jones here. Let's have a look at Tom Jones.
I didn't meet him. I just...
Ah, I see. No, so you don't need to meet the person.
No, I can use photographs.
And
I tend to do... The thing I tend to do, which annoys people, is that when I'm watching TV, if someone's on, I try and do a quick caricature of them.
Right.
Just because you get to see people moving around and
facial expressions,
all that kind of thing.
Yes.
And that's how I got the Tom Jones.
Yeah, it does look like him.
From watching him on.
Has Tom Jones seen it though?
He may have done, because it was in this drawing was in the New Zealand Listener. And it gets a full page in there, which is really nice.
Wow.
And they pay very well as well,
so
good. That's always nice.
Yeah,
but I usually get because they're a different time zone to us.
Yes.
The first time I got an email from them, and they said, "Oh, we've seen this caricature that you've done of Alan Bennett on your website. Can we use it?" And I just said, "Yeah, of course you can." And they said, "We'll pay you." And then I got another email back saying it's not big enough. We need it bigger in pixel size. You know.
Oh yeah.
It was only that size.
High resolution.
Yes. So I had to search my studio because I'd done it ages ago. And it took me ages. Anyway, it was 11 o'clock at night, and they were sort of saying, deadline.
They had a deadline.
Yeah, and of course they're a different time zone to us.
Yeah,
so anyway, eventually I found it, scanned it in, and sent it off, and they were really happy. And since then they give me a job about every month.
Do you have a photo library, an image bank of your work?
Well, only on my website.
Yeah,
so
I
most
see.
Of it's
I
on
see.
there.
I used to own a photo library, you see, so I know.
Which one?
It was called Retrograph Archive, right throughout the 80s.
Wow. Oh, we probably used your stuff.
No. It was Nostalgia.
Oh, right.
So, anyway, let's take a quick look at your books because they look. Let's have a look at the covers. They look wonderful.
I've always
show the cover.
Sorry, I've always been
The Boy Who Juggled. Lovely.
And this was an idea for a book without words. So there's no words in it. It's just about the boy's sort of how he progresses from trying to learn how to juggle. At the beginning, and then he becomes. Basically, it's a children's book, so in the end, he becomes the world's best juggler, and he gets the prize. He gets an award from the juggler who he first saw.
Wonderful.
So it's kind of just a little thing about.
Has a happy ending.
Yeah, and it's all about trying to, just keep going.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So that was the idea.
Let's see the cat one.
And then the cat one is my character's called Roger the Cat, which is obviously funny.
Yes.
And then this was just another idea for a children's book of basically what's happening to Roger each day. You see.
And was Roger your cat?
No, I never had a cat called Roger, but I just like the name. I think it's funny.
Roger the Cat.
And then the other one I did, which I'm very pleased with, was this. I did this when I went back after. It's a long story, but I went back to college to do an MA in printmaking.
Oh yes.
And
the alphabet.
Yes. So basically, there's a chap called William Nicholson who did an alphabet in the sort of 1890s.
Yes.
And it was he did woodcuts of all the sort of London types. So he did an artist and a costermonger and a woman selling flowers.
Open the book. Let's have a look.
So I did my version is modern London types. But I've included more women in mine because he only had one woman, I think, or two women. So I've done it alternatively with women as well, and it's all the things that you would see in London.
Beautiful colours. I love the colour contrast. Lovely. And the last one.
And then this one we went. I've never been really a big fan of Miro.
May I see the cover? Yes, we'll recognise that as Miro.
But then my wife and I went to Palmer in Mallorca,
yes.
And his studios are there, and we went to see them, and I was suddenly enticed by the way that he worked, and I sort of basically
lovely. Yes,
I just wanted to try that kind of way of working.
Fabulous.
Which is completely,
but you can easily recognise it as Miro.
Yeah. So the idea of this one was, what would it be like if Miro had illustrated a graphic novel? And of course he would just do what he always did.
Yes.
But there would be no words with it.
Yes.
So that was the idea behind
Very
that.
interesting.
So it's a kind of abstract, surreal kind of graphic novel.
Yes.
And I called it the Miro Murder Mystery Case, which I thought was quite funny.
And you also you are a cartoonist with the Evening Standard as well.
Yes. Yes.
You've been doing that for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, when I moved to London, I worked in Fleet Street as a newspaper designer, and I got a job at the Evening Standard when I first came to Fleet Street, and I used to do layout, and then I'd do cartoons for them.
Yeah, and everything's changed now because everything's digital.
It is, yes.
Have you moved with the times? You might say.
Yes, yeah. All my work now is done digitally.
Yes, yes.
In a software called Freehand. I work in that. For the paper.
Yes, and of course you can work anywhere in the world.
That's the great joy of
yes.
it now. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks goodness for email.
Okay, well it's been wonderful talking to you, Weef, and I look forward to the next cartoon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye bye.